Hi, welcome back to another Overthrow Disc Golf disc review. Today, we've got the Cookie. The Cookie from Clash Discs. We've got it in the steady plastic here. 7-speed, 7502. Really comfortable in the hand. For me, personally, it's very rounded. If you like sharp edges, probably is not it for you. It's got a little baby X-wing here. That means the wing goes like whoosh, instead of just shing. Super dependable for faster arms. Going to be just your standard control driver, right? When you're like, okay, I don't need to bite off that much right now. Just reliable, straight with a solid finish. Think something like a big boy Crave, right? Where you hit it hard, it's gonna stay straight, but it's actually gonna finish at the end. Slower arm speeds might use it as something that they just need if you're a righty to finish left. Kind of a little bit of a wind fighter where you don't have to worry about that there. I will note that if you're buying from us, we have noticed that the purple ones are notably more understable than the other colors. So I'm looking for something that I don't really want to flip up, so I'm going with a non-purple as my color of choice. If you want something that actually might pop up just a hair, be more like a 7.5 -1, 2, then probably the purple one is what you're going for. As with all Clash fairway drivers, barely any dome, pretty flat, feels really good for forehands. For all you two-side throwers or just forehand throwers out there, you know, Clash I think is not beat when it comes to fairway drivers on the forehand side. But don't take my word for it. We're going to show you how it flies.
case is going to be on hole 6, aka the hardest hole in Virginia, potentially the country. The first shot off the long tee is basically trying to push up the fairway a bit and get left off the back wall to get a placement shot up to start taking on chunks of that fairway. So I'm gonna try to use the cookie to throw a straight shot. I'm probably gonna give it full power for me to try to push that back wall, get left, and give myself room to get up the fairway straight versus being pinched off to the left. And I know with this, there's OB right. I don't have to worry about this for my arm speed getting over right, including the purple one. Yep. Well, so as long as I didn't get over 2 left, it should be pretty good for me to have a good backhand shot up. I have plenty of room to work with the right side of the fairway, stay away from the OB, but also stay away from the natural OB on the left. So should be the perfect shot for someone at my arm speed trying to get up this fairway and not take a 17 or whatever people take on this stupid hole.
All right, guys, my use case, I'm out here, hole 1, New London. I've got 2 cookies. This one actually plays a little bit flippier. I'm gonna show both because they actually have a little bit different use cases, but typically out of a cookie, you're gonna get that 7502 flight. And for me, that control driver is super important on a hole like this where we've got OB down the right side, all the way basically. I mean, you have to tell yourself it's OB the entire right side because the room for error is very small. So what I like to do is just guarantee that I'm going to finish left as long as I hit the gap and I don't get a crazy kick from the left side. Yep. Perfect example. Push down the fairway. I'm gonna be up and down for, is that what you say when you get a par? Up and down? I'm gonna be up and down. Now, slightly more risky, maybe a bit more reward. I'm not too worried about flipping this over and finishing right, like it continuing to go right, but it's gonna flip up a little bit more, which I typically go for this shot anyways. I'm not the safest guy in the world. Oh my. Yeah, that's, get in. Just, okay, yeah, that's it right there. I'm just gonna do that every time. All right, I'm gonna pass it on to Josh, who's gonna give us his coaching brain. All right, so my use case would be in a situation like this, where my first shot, hole 2, New London, probably wasn't that great, and then I did a placement shot to get to about here, so I'd have a nice high percentage next shot that I'm not throwing from the woods, so I just get off of this hole without taking a huge number. Okay, so I'm roughly 450 away from the pin, so for me personally, I can get a disc there and get a putt at it, right? It's very tempting. But as we mature as golfers, we've got to resist that temptation, right? Because what I would have to do is I'd have to play a flippy disc. I'd have to play something like the Wild Honey, and I'd have to pop it up down the gut, have it ride straight, and then finish. Well, the problem with that is you don't put enough hyzer on it, you're turning, you're hitting right side OB, definitely losing strokes. Or if I put a little too much hyzer on a disc like that, well, now it's gonna drift left super early, and now I got another scramble shot from pretty far away. What I could do is I could play the high percentage play. And when you're looking at gaps like this, I would recommend throwing at the far side of the gap. So right now I'm closer to this left side. So throwing at the far side of the gap with an angle and with a disc, that's gonna pull you off of the gap. So I'm gonna throw to the far side of the gap with this disc that's stable. And so it's gonna pull off of that gap. So if I do hit right side, I'm gonna hit pretty late because the disc is pulling me away from it. And if I don't, then obviously I'm way down there. If I put too much hyzer and I'm too inside, I'm still missing way down there. So that's how I'd recommend playing gaps like this. Aim for the far side with something that's gonna move you away from it. Either the angle moves you away from it, or the disc moves away from it, or both would be even higher percentage. Okay. So that's the first of the errors. where I put a little too much hyzer on it, played a little too safe, but I got loads of distance up there. Let's see if I can make a different mistake and show you that. I'll try to flatten it out a bit and push this right side a little harder. Well, I didn't make a mistake. That's just a good shot. So that's going to keep me moving up the fairway, chunking away, not taking massive numbers, while this hole tends to do it to people. So this becomes one of those discs that helps you make high percentage plays and play really good golf. Well, guys, I hope you have enjoyed that cookie review, and I assure you, this is one jar you want to get caught with your hand in. Dad life.